Hello and welcome back. I'm Randy Newbert from VoodooFX. In today's video, we'll be doing a model kit review on the new Randy Cooper Blockade runner. So let's get started. Okay, so here we have the Randy Cooper Blockade runner model kit. I have already stripped a couple of the parts out of the box, but I just wanted to do a kind of a quick review of some of the pieces and some of the parts that go to the model. So let me get this thing opened up, and I'm using a little bit of a wider angle shot here just because of the sheer scale of the model and plus all the parts and everything that's inside of it. So this model kit came nice and packed. All the parts were nicely in bubble wrap and paper. And then again, I've done a little bit of rewrapping on this version here. And actually, let me grab the secondary. I have another box here that I've already opened up of the parts. And then I've made some notes in here, and I've already kind of been working on it a little bit. So this isn't a full unboxing, but close to it. So anyway, what comes inside the model, and again, I've reduced the box down to a little bit smaller scale. Here's the main, what you want to call the midsection of the body. These come in two nice, clean half sections, both a top and a bottom. These are really nicely cast in resin. They don't require too much cleanup. I literally just did a quick scuff sand across the top, and these will fit together nicely, and the parts should key up pretty well. So anyway, so this is the mid body section here, and I'll put these two halves aside. And also, when you unpack it and get all the parts out, comes with this nice engine section that Randy actually redid all this and did it all from basically, this model's is like 90% scratch build all the way through. I don't think there was much left over from the original, so he literally retooled the entire model. But he redid these, and these are keyed. I leave this section in here just because it fits in there so nice. I'm just leaving it in there for now. And then again, he's got some nice key marks in here, and they just pop right together, and there you go. So this is the main back section of the engine assemblies. You can see that a lot of the detail parts have been left off because there is so much detail in the engine assembly that you could never do it as a one-piece mold. It would just be almost impossible to pick up all that detail in there. So this is another main sectional part that comes in the model. Beautiful looking base. This is another piece that comes in the model kit as a factory part for this model. It's very nice, nicely flat sanded. Just needs before I get it all ready, I'm actually gonna put it on a special mount, but this is a great looking mount. If you're just gonna go with just a straight display model, this is just awesome here. Just well done, crisp, tight. Needs a little edge sanding, but otherwise than that, just a nice perfect little base setup. And so we're gonna dig into some of the parts. Here's some of the engine details that are for the rear. These are the little exhaust parts, or they like to call it the bug piece. And these will just require some flat sanding. I'm actually glad that he has left these intact on the flashing because they tend to, if they're together on the flash, if they were already sanded off, these parts would just break immediately. So it's nice that it's on the flashing. So that's one piece. And now all the other parts, they came all in bubble wrap, but I've already stripped them down and got them out. But you get a nice big bag. Here's all the, these are the back parts to the engine. These are some of the detail parts and the cone sections that go out the rear, and they're all set up for little keys in here. And again, since he retooled this, he's made the engine assembly parts really a lot easier to go together and quicker to go together with all these keys. And so this is one bag of these parts. Let me set this one aside. Now, moving a little bit forward here, it comes with a head for if you're going to go with the standard Blockade runner. And I have to give it to him on this headpiece. I was very impressed with how he got this out as a one-piecer. The detail's really good. I did start working on it a little bit already. I'm going to kind of bring it up into frame here a little bit. I already cut the flashing off for the window, for the main viewing window or the cockpit window. And then I just did some really light cleanup. These are really easy. They just had a little bit of flashing here. I literally just popped them through with my finger. But this is, again, for the amount of detail on here, without getting hardly any bubbles and hardly any, you know, flashing parts or problems, man, this is just a beautiful casting. I'm sure when he goes to rip it out of the mold, this one is a mold killer. But again, hats off, Randy. Nice job on this piece of the head section. Really came out nice. There's the ear muff pieces that are also in here and bagged. Again, I kind of started working on the parts because I was so excited to get the model out, so I started kind of tearing into them already. Comes with a nice little clear interior. There's a little clear interior part. This slides up inside there. He's got some nice decals that come with it, and then you can just backlit the clear part. I'll probably go into a little more detail about that when I start showing all the stuff for the lighting. But yeah, we do already have the full lighting kit for this model. And that's the head section. Again, I think I'll leave these parts out. Here's the decals. There's, again, these are like a nice clear Translite style decals that come with it. And you can just backlight them. And they're all set up on here. They're nice little crisp looking decals, and we'll be using those for the interior. That's the interior decals. Okay, so moving forward, and I'm going to put this aside a little bit here just so we can get a little room. Again, this is a really, you know, since the scale of this model is just massive, I mean, it's a big model. These are all the rear engine details, and plus he's now included these clear mounting pods for the LEDs, which slip inside there and are going to make the process of doing the lighting just so much easier, because he's already got the pre-mounts. You just got to drill a little hole in there for the LED. These ones I'm going to be using a 5mm wide angle LED in these to do the lighting for this one. And anyway, nice crisp parts. I could probably yank one out of the bag just to show you kind of the crispness of the part itself. I mean, and here we go. So here's like the rear of the engine detail. And I mean, that's just a, you know, sharp looking casting. I mean, all the details in there, all the ventings in there. I mean, there's no bubbles or anything. I just got to flat sand the back of this thing and put it right on the engine. It's done. So nice job on these. And again, a lot of parts, you know, the engine details are just intense. So that's another bag of parts. And moving forward here, I'm going to grab out these. And I've got them laid down in the bag because I'm just not going to be able to get right onto this model right away. I've just got other projects that I'm tightening up. So here is like the some of the gun turret parts. These are the escape pods. Again, nice castings. The flashings are very flat and just need a little bit of back sanding, and they'll be able to be glued right on. And again, so more miscellaneous parts for the just a little add-on parts for the main body. And then in here's all the engine details. And again, I laid these down flat because I don't want these to get too tweaked while I let this thing sit for a little while before I actually start going into it and building it. I'm just going to kind of build it a little bit as I go. So anyway, on here again, you can see the detail on these parts is just incredible. I mean, highly, you know, raised detail parts. All the mechanics are all there. I mean, these engines are just going to look just beautiful when they're done. So anyway, so this is all the engine assemblies. Again, I like the way that Randy leaves the flashings intact. This keeps parts together well. And then that way, as you know, when you're going to pull the parts, they don't just disintegrate and fall apart. So it's actually really nice having these back flashings on there. And so anyway, so that's the engine details there. Again, more engine parts. As I can kind of, you can see right here, a lot of the focus is literally on the engine itself. Again, and then this is like one of the final parts that he adds in the kit. And this is a nice part that, I mean, I really like this kind of stuff when you get it. This is an alignment tool, and this is how it keeps the engines square. And I'm really happy that he put this into the model kit itself, because this will help keep you the alignment really square and straight, because you got 11 engines. There can be a lot of twist and churn and movement, you know, and there should be a little bit of play so you can get good adjustment out of them and clean them up. But this will help the process along big time. I also suggest, and I'm sure Randy has suggested it as well, that you get a good triangle or square, and by using a square and a good straight edge, that way you can level the parts up and get them true in 90. And you know, you can do a little eye tweaking of them, but you know, this helps tremendously by keeping you in good shape. So anyway, so this is the bulk of the model. Basically, here's all the parts. If I was to spread them out, I think I might be able to include a long shot that Randy did of all the parts laid out. And I mean, this would fill up the whole bench. It would overfill this bench. I'd have to actually lay them out on a larger bench to really lay out all the parts. But you know, this is the basic end of the model, and all the parts that go with it. And then I wanted to add one last thing as I'm doing this review. Randy decided to make a optional base kit for this model, and it was a really, I really love where he took the base, because this is a, you know, this adds for any kind of Star Wars model that you might want to display and have on the base. So let me grab this base. I got it right behind me. And I've already done the assembly because I just didn't want to get the parts themselves tweaked. So what I ended up doing, and I'm going to break this down. So what it comes is there's the upper flat section, and I'll show you that right away. And these are all the small tiles kind of put together in an array here. And again, I've already done some flat sanding and flat sanded this because I didn't want this part to tweak. So I went ahead and I've been laying it on the base parts. So you get this one beautiful looking base. Again, let me pull it up into frame a little bit. And you know, it's a nice looking Death Star trench part. You could probably lay this thing out in a couple different ways. You might even, if you want and didn't want to build the box, you could probably put this as a wall hanger. You know, this could sit up on a wall and you could have the model mounted on the outside of it. So it gives you a lot of option. This is a nice little optional, you know, base part. And then this is the part that I wanted to put together because I just, you know, when you're dealing with long parts like this, you want to assemble them pretty quick. And not let them sit in the box too long because they will get twisted and tweaked. They can be straightened pretty easy with a little bit of boiling water, but I'd rather just, you know, go ahead and assemble it, put it together, and then that way it's done. So this comes in 4 pieces, and then the 5th part is the top. And I went ahead again and I glued them together. They really key in together correctly, and they're really easy to put on. And then that's it. This is how the base goes. This goes on top of it. And this part sits, and it can be directional in whatever way you want it to do, but there it is. So this gives you a nice base box, and this gives you good mount to mount all the parts onto, and you know, mount the whole model onto. And like I said, it's a nice optional base. And if you had any kind of Star Wars model, if you wanted another different Star Wars model you wanted to set this up for, say you wanted to put a TIE fighter on here, I don't know, even a Falcon or whatever, in any scale, small or large, this thing measures out pretty big as far as the base goes. But you could slice these off and cut these into sections and make your own kind of base platform for pretty much any Star Wars model. So again, a very nice piece, very highly detailed, and this is an extra that is available for him for purchase if you want to go with this optional base. Again, this one is an optional base, and this one is the one that actually comes within the model kit itself. So anyway, so I think this is a wrap on this review. I should have some updated stuff on the model as I'm starting getting ready to put them together and build it. I'll do an update at that point. And anyway, I hope you liked the review, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and take a look at our VoodooFX group page and join if you like. It's a great place, a great resource for modelers, and I would love to see what your current projects are and what you've been working on. So anyway, till the next review and till the next video, we will see you then. And again, thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again on the next video.